Today I'm going to show you how to mount up your own tires at home. This works good for quads, off-road applications. It does work on highway tires too. You can even balance them yourself. It just takes a little bit of time, and I'll show you how to do it without fighting against yourself the whole way like I used to do. For this, you're going to need some lubricant and you're going to need some tire bars. They don't have to be tire bars. I do have one here that's an actual tire bar, but you don't need that. You just need 2 bars. Preferably one of them is longer so you can get lots of leverage. And this is just for mounting up some old tires and rims that I got that I'm going to put on an old truck of mine. First thing you want to do is clean your beads out nice, wipe them off. Anything that's a mating surface, a good trick that I learned is to wire brush your beads really well. All the way around on both sides. And that'll just help prevent leaks in the future. If you do plan on balancing them yourself, just make sure you take off all the old weights. Just a screwdriver and a hammer will take these off pretty quick. And look for any sticky weights on the inside. Now, to actually get this to go pretty easy, what you want to do, look at your rim. It's usually the front and it has a quick drop lip here. You need your tire to slide into there while you're putting it on. So that's important. This side's tapered and it's difficult if you start from that side. So lay your rim down with the front facing up. This is just an old set of tires and rims I'm putting on. They don't have to be perfect. It does make it a lot easier if you get rid of all that dirt around the edge. Now, you want to grab your trusty lubricant. I use WD-40. You can use soap and water or whatever you like. Just coat it really good all the way around. You'll want some to fall down into that inner lip of the bead. First part's pretty easy. Just get things started by pressing it on. First part you can usually like that to get it started. You only need 1 bar for this usually. The trick is you want to hold it down and just take little tiny bites. Right? If one side is too tough, try doing it on the other lip. And now this is where it gets tricky. This is where you'd get to it and then it would just get really tough and impossible. End up taking it into the tire shop. So, once again, these beads are pretty clean. I'm just gonna wipe them down, lubricate them. I'm sure soap and water would be better. Not as hard on the rubber, but these are old tires, so they don't really matter that much. Most important part of this section first bar. You need to take this and you need to make sure that this rubber tire goes below that steel lip and it stays there. If it doesn't stay there, then things will get tight real quick and it just seems like it's almost impossible. So you have to hold it with one. Same thing, nice small bites. You'll want to use your other foot to hold your progress in place. Little tiny bites. Now this part right here is where you really need that bar to be there, because this is where it gets tight. But if you have that bar there, it allows this a little bit of play, just enough to get it over without ripping your beads or fighting against yourself. And that's the mounting part. Before I go ahead and seat these beads, we're going to do our balancing. So we'll just leave them loose for now. These are factory rims, so they're pretty easy to mount. Some other rims are going to be too wide and you're going to have too much of a gap and it's just going to let air out. That's where you need a little bit of starting fluid, some ether. You want to spray about 10 seconds worth in there, maybe a little more, but don't get too carried away. Tires can blow up. Make sure you always got your safety glasses on, all your safety gear, gloves, everything you need. But overall, with just a little bit of ether, it's generally pretty safe. What you would do is you would spray some of this ether on the end of a stick or even on the end of your bar, and then you would light that up, touch it to there to ignite the ether, and it'll usually take off. If it does seat the beads from ether, you're going to want to get your air on it right away, because it will start sucking the tire back off as that air cools down. It'll pull it right back off the beads if you don't get air to it right away. Usually once it's sealed with ether, there's only maybe a pound or two of air in there, so it's usually not a big issue. Now you're probably asking yourself, how am I going to balance these at home with a measuring cup? Old mechanics trick, 1 cup of coolant, it's just glycol. Just going to squeeze this back and pour it right in. Probably could have put it in earlier, but that's okay. And that's how you balance those. I did this before with a set of Toyos, which are balanced good anyway, but I did it before, and all the way up to 170 kilometers an hour, I did not have a shake or a shimmy or anything, and those were some old used Toyos. They weren't even brand new. And literally that's all I did to balance them, was just that little bit of coolant. So I did get these all mounted on, even the beads. Most of them were pretty easy. Because they're factory rims and the tires are a little bit wider than the rims, it was just a matter of putting some air to them and they started to take. And then I lubricated the beads to make sure they would seat. You don't want to go over 30 pounds to seat your beads. Could get a little dangerous. I did have trouble with one of these. This one right here. The rim has a crack on it. Just a little bit of a bend to it there. So it would not take air no matter what I did. So I took my trusty ratchet strap and I wrapped it all the way around. I wrapped it all the way around and then applied some pressure to it, and then it took right off. As soon as it took off, I did take the ratchet strap off just to make sure it doesn't bust and go flying. I wore safety glasses the whole time I did this. The main thing is just it should only take 20 pounds to seat your beads. If it takes more than that, then you might want to just take them into a tire shop. Other than that, this all went pretty good, and I'm going to put them on the truck and try them out.